Absolutely unacceptable performance today from Arsenal. I'm very disappointed. Very, very disappointed in the team. I'm going to be honest. I'm very disappointed. Had complete control of that game, 90% of the game. But we were playing from behind all the way up until the 70th minute because of an error early on that allowed for an easy goal within the first minute and gave Fulham a 1-0 lead for the first 70 minutes. An error, a ball that was hit back and misplayed, allowing for a nice easy shot with Ramsdale out of place. Wasn't happy with that. Then we get the penalty from Saka. Saka ends up putting it 1-1 immediately. 2 minutes later, Nketiah gets a goal. Fabio Vieira's he played great. He drew the penalty, and he helped in the setup there for Nketiah. Fabio Vieira, big shout out for him. He had an assist. I thought, in my opinion, he'd be the player of the match, but it ended up going to Saka, who he's the reason. I'm a big fan of Saka, but he created a big error that ended up leading towards the first goal. So wasn't a big fan of conceding that early. Then you had Arteta towards the end. He brought off Odegaard for Jorginho like he did last week. And I thought that was a wrong decision. I honestly thought that was a wrong decision. I would have left Odegaard in the game. I would have moved Kai Havertz out of the game. Kai Havertz had a bunch of opportunities in the first half to put the ball in the back of the net. Failed to put the ball in there. There's a few good crosses, a few good opportunities that if Havertz was just in the right position, but he's not making his runs as strong. He's not committing to runs. I don't know what it is with him, but he's not making the plays that you would hope for him to make after paying $65 million for him. He's not making the plays that you want him to make. And I think he was a little bit out of position at some points. Another one that I think is a big error on Mikel Arteta's part is I think that, granted, it wasn't as obvious because we, like I said, had momentum the entire game. It felt like we just had an early error that we couldn't bounce back from. That let us down 1-0 up until the 70th minute. But every time it felt like we would have something set up, but the counterattacking of Fulham just beat our defense back down the field. I don't know if it would have changed anything. I would have liked to seen Gabriel start, but he's still yet to start. And I know that there's been rumors about the Saudis going in for Gabriel. I'm starting to think maybe those are true. I know that they said they wouldn't sell him for, I believe it's like 170 mil. They wouldn't even sell him. Why is he not playing? Why is he not playing then? Why is he not playing? I don't know if that would have changed anything, but I think I would have preferred to see that. Move Partey to the bench, put Ben White back out there on the wing back position, and then put Gabriel back in center back. But that's not what we did. Trossard, I'm not going to lie, I was hoping he would have a good game. I saw they were starting. I was happy because he deserved it after the preseason he had. But I think we might have made the wrong decision. I think Nketiah would have been better here. Nketiah, when he came in the game, he looked better than what Trossard did. Trossard really didn't do all that much, to be honest with you. A lot of this team, though, I feel like they all let him down because late in the game they got a red card on the other team. The other team had 10 men, and they still gave up a goal and allowed Fulham to get 1 point out of it, and we only got 1 point out of it when we were up 2-1 into the 88th minute. It's unacceptable. That's absolutely unacceptable. I am very disappointed in it. I don't know if my suggestion of Gabriel would have been something that could have helped. But I really want to see something change with the defense because Fulham counterattacks, they seem to beat us back into position. I don't know if this is something you can change, obviously, this window, but maybe you could find cover for Kai Havertz at in his position because he was lacking. I think a lot of opportunities were blown by Kai Havertz today. Who came in for him? Was it? I think it was Fabio Vieira, but I don't know. I know Mohamed Kudus was somebody we were looking at, and obviously he's going to West Ham. I don't know if there's anybody else we're going to be looking at in that kind of cam role that can push up the field a little bit and score out of the midfield. We got to see Gabriel Jesus brought back in the 90th minute. Didn't really contribute to much. I fully expected him not to really contribute to much, I'm going to be honest. His first game back, we're just probably trying to get him healthy for the Man United game. But we got to see Zinchenko back in. I think he could have been a better option than Partey. I'm going to be honest. I think he could have been a better option than Partey. But I'm just really disappointed. I'm just really, really disappointed. I think this is a game that you could not afford to drop at home. At home, you definitely should not have dropped this game. You had a 2-1 lead. You had the momentum for basically the entire game. Well, let me go to the facts, match facts. 71% of the game, Arsenal had possession. They had 3.25 expected goals. They finished with 2. Fulham had 0.5 expected goals and finished with 2. We took 19 shots. They only took 8. We blew a lot of opportunities. We should have had more goals than what we did. All I can say is that is not the team that if you really think that spending the big money on Declan Rice, on Kai Havertz, obviously Jurrien Timber's not on the team currently because of his injury, but if you think spending that big money is going to help get us to winning the Premier League, you got to have better performances than this. This could be something later down the season where you're looking at and being like, well, if they could have just held on there, that's another 2 points they would have had. And that could really help us in a battle against Man City. Man City, they have a fairly easy stretch until they face us. Now we're going into that game down points on Man City. If we lose to Man City, now we're down 5. If we tie Man City, we're still down to Man City. That game against Man City is going to have to be a must-win game at this point. This is not the team you should be losing to. And I know we still think we should be able to go in and beat Man United. They haven't looked great. But to be honest with you, neither have we. We haven't looked that great either. We've struggled at times. Our defense hasn't looked great. William Saliba has really been the only consistent part of the defense, if you ask me. Obviously, Jurrien Timber going down hurt us a lot. But I just was not impressed. We'll see what we end up doing. But for the most part, I am very, very disappointed in this team.